He's an adjunct senior fellow at the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies. This is why we need expert opinion to kind of make sense of what really doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because I feel like the conversations that Presidents Putin and Trump have don't match up with the official line from the Kremlin. So Trump comes away from a phone call and says, look, I've spoken to Putin. You know, we can give some security guarantees in Ukraine, and then there's going to be a bilateral meeting. Putin can sit down with Zelenskyy, then we'll have a trilateral meeting. All sounds great. Then you listen to the official line from the Kremlin, they're like, we're not having any of that. So, I mean, where does the truth lie, do you think?
I think what we're seeing, and as has been outlined by your various correspondents, is a lot of motion, but not a lot of movement. In other words, the Europeans, Zelenskyy and Putin want to keep President Trump happy and engaged and let him play the role of the puppet master, not necessarily with the puppets doing what he wants them to do. There are major differences within the Western coalition on issues such as, do we need a ceasefire or should we go for a peace agreement? On issues of territorial compromise. Clearly, Zelenskyy, even if he's fudging his words at the moment, is constitutionally constrained. And there are differences on what the security guarantees imply, and we have more questions than we have answers. And on the other side, you have major differences with the Russians who have territorial claims and are not willing to surrender those claims. And of course, what you just mentioned, they want a militarily weak Ukraine, not one that is reinforced by foreign forces, whether those is NATO as such and Ukrainian membership in NATO, or whether those are forces including NATO members.
If you put yourself in Vladimir Putin's position for a moment, and you were listening in to yesterday's meeting at the White House, so you hear Donald Trump saying how he has a really good relationship with Putin. Trump today has said Zelenskyy needs to be more flexible when it comes to getting a peace deal. You see European leaders kind of scrambling around, dazed and confused, wondering who's going to contribute what, how they're going to do it. Do you think it's Putin's the real puppet master here? I mean, is he not just sat there laughing to himself?
I don't think that he's a puppet master necessarily, but he's playing the game very smartly. And he has not really made any concessions. That was clear in the discussions that he had with President Trump in Alaska on Friday. Whatever he discussed after the meeting with the Europeans on the phone with Trump, clearly there were no concessions. So at this moment, we don't really have a narrowing of the gaps. And therefore, there's room for a lot of skepticism, even if these bilateral and trilateral meetings take place.
Also, Volodymyr Zelenskyy said from the very beginning he's been absolutely consistent that Ukraine won't give up any of its territory, and even if he wanted to, he can't. There needs to be a referendum on it. And we heard Ursula von der Leyen saying that they support, the European leaders support Ukraine until a just and fair peace can be established. Now, the Europeans are not going to turn around and say giving up Ukrainian territory is considered a fair deal, are they? They can't support that, can they?
I doubt that they can. I also think that Zelenskyy has been very consistent, but Putin has been very consistent. The one that has perhaps been inconsistent is Trump. Having said that, for the Europeans, there's much more at stake here than just simply territorial concessions, yes or no. They see the way Ukraine gets settled and how this all progresses or doesn't progress as defining what European security is going to look like and what risks Europe is going to be running.
James, good to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time. James Dorsey, my guest, adjunct senior fellow at the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.